Hey there. Okay, leading into episode 11. Been a few days here since I ran my last session here, and about 5 days here, and I'm kind of coming up with our next ideas here. So our next adventure, essentially. So at the end of the last session, Jack's essentially kind of ended up down on his luck. Almost, again, pretty much just about broke again. I think he's down to his last 30 galactic credits. Verify that. Yep. He's currently kind of, keeping the driftwood parked out in the desert and kind of catching rides in with the moisture farmers that he's become acquainted with over the last couple of weeks on Tatooine, or just kind of hiking it himself. Unfortunately for Jax, the interruption by the bounty hunter and the Jabba's minions, essentially. First the bounty hunter that Jabba sent in to take the kyber crystals from Jack, and then the security detail who succeeded where the bounty hunter had failed. Unfortunately, after all is said and done, the buyer had kind of got cold feet, got scared. Buying kyber crystals is possessing them, buying them, selling them, whatever, is a highly illegal, almost treasonous kind of crime in under the Galactic Empire. So the professor, the Zabrak professor, who specialized in kind of the ancient history of technology around the Jedi and such, decided to back right out and left Jax kind of holding the bag a bit. Vex, however, unfortunately, he attempted to, or at least he told Jax he attempted to find another buyer, and when that didn't pan out, Vex just kind of washed his hands of the whole ordeal. He's like, you know what? Just keep the money I've given you so far. Keep the crystals. I can't offload them. They're way too hot. Too much danger. They're all yours, buddy. Jax then successfully, thankfully, spread a rumor on around through Mos Eisley that he had dumped his cargo that he'd been unable to sell somewhere in the desert, and so he's content right now that he's more or less safe as long as nobody finds out he has those kyber crystals. Which, if we kind of go back to our driftwood here, we'll find that those kyber crystals are resting just in a crate in one of his cargo bays here. Or cargo holds, sorry. But same diff. So I'd kind of been brainstorming a little bit as to what's going to happen next, and I'd come up with that. I think at the end of the last session we talked that the next session will pick up with the meeting tables of befriend a group, and in thinking about that, I decided the next job should probably involve an early resistance group. Now we're about 5 years before the Battle of Yavin, so we're about 3-ish years before the official declaration of rebellion. So there's a bunch of different insurrectionist groups, rebellion groups, kind of operating on their own, sometimes working together, but frequently kind of doing their own thing. And there's no central organization for them all at this point, right? So what I kind of see is, our episode 11 opens on a hive of scum and villainy. A Tatooine cantina with some light jazz music, playing in the background, with various patrons of different alien species from all across the galaxy. Some joining together for drinks, and others just kind of keeping to themselves. After all, Mos Eisley still is a very strong location for picking up work, that's a kind of under the table type of thing, right? Lots of smugglers, lots of bounty hunters, lots of hired guns, lots of no good nicks kind of thing, right? Of which Jax is one of them. And we kind of zoom in on Jax sitting in the back of this cantina. His blaster pistol, not too far straying, and he checks it every so often. He's had some very harsh luck lately, and while sitting in there, he peers around, takes a drink of his, Tatooine ale, and sets the glass back down on the table, and for his booth, right? And he's kind of got kicked back, got one kind of leg draped up on top of the bench seating here. I kind of pictured as like one of the half circle type of booths here, and he kind of looks around. He's been kind of keeping a low profile, but keeping his ears open, looking for any potential work, because he really needs some money. He really needs a way to get off this planet, because eventually Jabba's minions may come calling. He hasn't left. Jabba's probably still kind of sore about the transfer of kyber crystals back into Jax's possession. Even though they were Jax's to begin with, I'm sure Jabba doesn't really take kindly to people, shooting down his men and lifting cargo that he rightfully stole, of course. Jax takes a look, and across the bar, in a different booth, he sees one man, probably around 45, 50-ish, pick up a small tray of drinks from the bar, nod at the bartender after he's kind of tossed a few credits onto the counter, and he turns, and Jax watches him, head towards this table of three others, and notices that all four of them look very much alike. And he kind of becomes curious. He kicks back and watches the four of them as they sit back in their own booth. They're discussing something quietly. They're kind of leaning in, chatting, and then do they notice Jax watching them? I'm going to go to our fate chart. So we're at a chaos factor of 6. We're just going to kind of pop over here. I've started a new adventure journal. This one's called the Tatooine Job. The last one was the Nar Shaddaa Job. And we come here. Now, I haven't changed our characters list or our threads list, even though this is kind of adventures based, I think. But I don't know whether to really change this each time, or whether maybe we can have some of these characters just come back. So I'm going to kind of do it this way. And as we kind of go along, if I need to remove characters or threads as we go along, threads are easier to remove. As we go along, if we need to remove characters that just don't make sense anymore, then we'll do so. So, with our first scene, I'm not even rolling against it on, not even doing a scene test here. I'm just going ahead with it. Yes, this is what's happening. We're at a current chaos factor of 6. Sorry, my question was, do they notice Jax staring at them? Because Jax isn't really hiding it. He's looking for work. He kind of wants to be noticed. So I'm going to say it's likely. These guys are also, we'll get to what these guys are, but I'm sure the fact that they all look very much alike, and they're kind of well into their 40s, maybe pushing 50 in terms of age, might make it clear as to kind of what these guys are already. I'm going to say it's likely that they see Jax. 65. Yeah. 75 or less would have been that. Absolutely. 65, they definitely spot Jax after about 10 minutes. Jax is kind of just about finishes his beer, and all of a sudden one of them kind of in the, they're also in a semicircle kind of booth. One of the two in the middle just suddenly kind of looks over and catches Jax's eyes. He quickly kind of leans over and talks to one of his partners, and they all kind of take a look over at Jax very carefully, and then turn away Jack starts to think that maybe they're not going to, maybe there's not anything going to happen. Maybe they're just going to ignore the fact that he was very clearly watching them. But after another few minutes, the one who grabbed the tray of drinks stands up. He's he's dressed in what appears to kind of be like a ragtag, old, military fatigues. The others are kind of dressed similarly, but this more looks like somebody who went to like an army surplus store. Yeah, it's real, but it's it's mismatched. It's not it's not a solid uniform, and he's definitely not kind of dressed or holding himself like he's like he's on duty in the military right then and there. And it's certainly not Imperial Galactic Empire wear. This is more of a throwback to the Old Republic. Just should make some notes here. You can already kind of see, probably, if you're looking here, what I've decided to do here. The one who ends up being the one getting drinks is our captain for the squad here. So as he approaches Jax's table, Jax notices that the guy's got a blaster pistol on his hip as well. He's got a bit of a scruffy beard going on. He's graying for sure. Actually, maybe I'll just kind of make note of that because our captain here. Oh, scruffy gray hair as well. No, probably like mine. I need a haircut. As he approaches Jax's table, and as he approaches, Jax kind of brings the leg down, gonna make sure to sits kind of around so that he's square on the table, and keeps his hand right down on his lap near his blaster pistol, ready to draw. And as the one of the quadruplets approaches, he says, "Nah, no need for that, mate. Hands on the table. I won't draw if you don't. Mind if I join you?" Jax brings his hands up, just a precaution. He puts his palms flat down on the table to show that he's means no harm, not going to be drawn down or anything. He says, "Have a seat." And the guy sits down, slides into the booth across from Jax. "Yeah, I see you've been watching us. You a pilot?" Jax just kind of nods. "Yeah, I got a ship." "Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see you watching us, and we could use a pilot. We're between ships at the moment. We may need some transport. You interested?" Jax nods. "Yeah, I could be interested. What are we transporting? Just the four of you?" There's five of us actually. The last one, he ain't here at the moment." "All right, 5 people to transport. Sure. Where are we going?" "Well, that's a good question at the moment." Well, that is a very good question. Where exactly are they going to be going? Are they sticking to the outer rim? I'm thinking yes, there's a good chance they're sticking to the outer rim, but let's just let's make it likely that they're sticking to the outer rim. Roll percentile. Again, we're chaos factor of 6. That's 52. Yes, they are sticking to the outer rim. Oops. Yeah, my usual typos, I know. "Yeah, we're sticking to the outer rim, all right. but we should talk because I think we got a couple places to visit. All right, what exactly are these guys doing? So the way I've kind of envisioned our group here is that they're their own little squad of resistance fighters. You know, they're insurrectionists, but not necessarily tied into any one of the bigger groups. They're their own group, maybe kind of intermingling between all of the other ones, between say Mothma's group and the Atravis resistance group and a bunch of others. I mean I don't know how many resistance groups that canon has actually gone into for our for the current canon anyway. So there are a bunch, and they eventually, you know, in a few years they get all brought together to form the Rebel Alliance. But so far, right now, that's not what's going on. I'm just checking something here, making sure everything's still recording fine. So are they trying to escape the planet? I mean, yeah, it could be. I'm going to just keep this as 50-50. So are they trying to escape the planet? 65. Yeah, they're trying to escape Tatooine. We might be in a little bit of a rush, mate. With apologies for anyone watching, my accents are always terrible. All right, how much of a rush? What are the chances they need it to get out today? Let's just call it 50-50 again. 97. Absolutely no, they do not need to get out today, but they need to get out within the next 3 days. Nah, not that quick. Don't need to get out today, but yeah. In the next 3 days, absolutely. We got some cargo waiting on us. Cargo. There we go. What kind of cargo? Jax's curiosity is piqued, of course. Like, try to get something interesting off planet. Are they trying to smuggle something off planet? Seems certain at this point. 31. Yep, they are trying to smuggle something off planet. Okay, now what are they trying to smuggle something off planet? My guess, based on what I know of these guys, they probably have something that one of the resistance groups requires. So, are they trying to smuggle guns? Are they trying to smuggle guns off planet? We'll just call it 50-50. 19. Yes, they are trying to smuggle guns off planet. They haven't told Jax this yet. And they probably don't trust Jax yet. They don't know him yet. Like, yeah, we could definitely use some discretion on your part, and if we can avoid any Imperial entanglements or Hutt entanglements, we'd much appreciate it. Alright, so it's something hot. Yeah, you can say that. Jax doesn't really know how to price this yet, because usually I need to kind of have an idea of the value. Let's kind of slip over to our smuggling books here, which I do have a bunch of things kind of set aside. Just kind of looking for, I should probably flag this as soon as I find it here. Alright, so cargo payout, if we're talking, we're probably not talking extremely rare, but if they're smuggling guns are still fairly easy to come by. You know, firearms are not all that restricted depending on what it is. Let's turn to the edge of the Empire book while we're at it. So if we're talking normal things, we're talking rarities of up to, I mean, even there's some restricted items here, of course, but I'm thinking, you know, even heavy blaster rifles are a rarity of 6, which are not the, you know, most rare, but they're not restricted. Anything even up to a rarity of 7 that are unrestricted really isn't much of a cargo payout because there's nothing illegal about transporting it necessarily. But what if these guys have some more interesting items? Maybe they've got a batch of stormtrooper blaster rifles. Is that what they've got? Do they have a batch of Galactic Empire blaster rifles? We'll just call it 50-50 again. Chaos factor 6. 42. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing here. They're restricted because they are stormtrooper blaster rifles. I'm guessing they probably got a bunch of them. A blaster rifle, like a light repeating blaster rifle. Sorry, I wouldn't be. So what would be a? Let's go to the stormtroopers here. So we'll just kind of pull up our. Where's the standard stormtrooper in here? Do they not just have like a normal stormtrooper? Am I missing something? Oh, here we go. Imperial Stormtrooper. Light repeating blaster. Okay, these actually are restricted. Or we got blaster rifles. The blaster rifles, I'm thinking maybe that's what we're dealing with. These are ranged heavy. These are typically a rarity of 5. But because they're probably stolen from Imperials, we're talking a bigger risk. We're talking definitely a restricted kind of weapon here. So what? How many are we talking here? Are we talking like 50 or more? It's a 63, which is still below the 65, so a 50 or more, yeah. These things are, so we're going to call these restricted due to the severity of getting caught with them. All right, so after a little bit of discussion at the table, they start, you know, Jax, and who he learns is a guy named Zyrel, Zy for short. And Jax kind of starts to get a better idea, talking things through. Zy doesn't exactly fully trust him yet, but he needs some transport. You know, I did say that they had a ship, but due to what I'm going with, they do not currently have a ship. That's part of the issue. I'm thinking maybe their ship got destroyed, or maybe their ship got captured by the Imperials, or by the Hutts, maybe, because they are on Tatooine right now. So what are we talking about here in terms of cost? Let's say it's 50 blaster rifles, right? At a cost of 900 apiece. But we're also talking about transportation of rebel resistance groups here too, right? I'm just going to kind of check here. So our do we do to deal with people? Transportation of people's a little more up in the air. I don't necessarily see anything here. I'm going to pause the recording as I kind of look for an answer here. Hey, okay, I found something that was kind of helpful. So transportation services kind of help to at least get a sense as to what we're dealing with here. So passage, and I'm thinking maybe like double the cost for this based on the kind of passage these guys are looking for, seeing as they're not seeing as they're kind of looking to be undercover. So after kind of some discussions, we have some ideas here as to kind of where we're going with the basic costs of this. So when we deal with this, we're looking at restricted items, but we're putting that into the 6 to 7 range category here, right? So plus, I'm calling this average for up to 5 days, 5,000 credits to transport Zai and his crew. So that's kind of what we're talking about. Depending on how far they're going, that's going to go up. Zai hasn't exactly given many details yet as to where they're going. So up to 5 days is would take us potentially quite a ways. What did I figure this out to? I really need to mark that a little bit better here. I think it was based on the hyperdrive 2. I think it was 24 hours per. Is that right? I think it was 24 hours per square. I don't know where I might have put this here. I think I found it last time, and yeah, there 24 hours per square on a minor hyperspace lane. This is based on their hyperdrive 2, of course. Or did I base it on the hyperdrive class 2? Maybe I didn't base it on the class 2. Whatever the case, I need to highlight this anyway so I can find it. 4 days, 16 cells, and that was going from, where were we here when we did this? We're heading to Gamor, which is up here. So 1, 2, 3. Or did we do it? 1, 2. 1, 2. Oh, sorry, we fell the hyperspace lanes. 1, 2, I believe. Which would be 2 days. You're right. This is hyperdrive 1. 5 days doesn't really get us far. 1, 2, even like 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I mean it's not going to get too far based on the space, so that may go up. Now, the hyperdrive is only class 2. Maybe Jack's going to cut them a little bit of a break. Okay, so here we go. They sit down. They're discussing the shipment. During the discussion, Jax discovers that it's a load of blaster rifles that have been were liberated off of an Imperial outpost, probably in the mid-rim. There's no Imperial outpost here on Tatooine, so they've kind of made it to Tatooine, but they've lost their ship. Why did they lose their ship? Was it impounded by Boss? Boss, of course, is the giant, organization that basically kind of manages and restricts fleet transports and does all the licensing and registration and everything. And they're not one to mess with. Even in the books that if you read the Star Wars RPG books and such, especially like the old West End Games ones, it even says like even the Empire doesn't mess with Boss. So let's go back to our fate charts here. Was their ship impounded? We'll just call it 50-50, chaos factor of 6. That's a 17. Yeah, we kind of ran afoul of Boss. Our logs weren't up to date, and they suspected us of smuggling. So yeah. However, they managed to get they got the guns offloaded. Try that again. Prior to Boss impounding the ship, and now they're stored, somewhere in Mos Eisley. Cool. Great. Okay. A deal has been struck. Zai is willing to kind of work with. Zai is willing to work with. Actually, there we go. Is that? So I'm just kind of looking at the transportation service again. Are we talking 10,000 credits? It seems an awful lot for chartered space transport, but maybe I'll just kind of pop back. This is where I found it here. Is there any additional information on this page? No, there's not. I think I'm cool with what I decided here. So essentially, if things go well, Jax is gonna bring in revenue of 16,250 credits for smuggling these things. And that's not too bad. So we're gonna end that scene there as they shake on the deal, but we don't yet have an idea as to when all of this is going to happen. All right. Scene 20. All right, now chaos factor there. Yeah, I'm thinking that Jax was fairly in control there. So let's drop that chaos factor back down to 5. Scene 20. I'm thinking scene 20 is going to shift ahead to we're going to kind of move things ahead. Meet up to transport the cargo to the driftwood? No. Jax isn't transporting shit. That's not Jax's job to, go fetch their cargo. and they call themselves Camino Squad. Kai, sorry, not Kai. Zai and Camino Squad arrive at the Driftwood with their cargo in tow. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen here for our next scene. But we should test the scene. Back into testing scenes here. D10. We got a chaos factor now of 5, 4. Okay, that's going to change things. That means we're going to have an interrupt scene. Right, and our interrupt scene. Okay, so generate a random event used as the basis for the start of the scene. Sure. A random event focus table. Okay, let's get this. The random event focus is going to be 91. Current context. Okay. A random event could help explain a fate question result. A random event could be disruptive to the current action. I'm thinking we're probably going with disruptive. Let's roll on our meaning table, starting with actions. Whoops. Action 1, we got 97. Trust. Action 2. 41. Trust. Hope. Trust, hope, but still kind of within the current context of arriving on ship with the but it is an interrupt scene, so how do we deal with this? Okay, still in the current context. Trust, hope. That's a weird combination. Trust, hope. Trust that trust that we're hoping that things are going to work out well. Trust, hope. Well, Zai and his crew, they call themselves Camino Squad. Zai and Camino Squad have placed a lot of hope in the insurrection, kind of working to disrupt the Galactic Empire, and I mean their preference would be to see the restoration of the Republic. They're trusting in that hope, and they're trusting that Jax is the one to help them. This does not really help very well with an interrupt scene, though, does it? Trust, hope. I don't think I got anything for this interrupt scene. Not based on this. Let's do a second check. Let me see if there's another table we can roll on here. Elements, zone, armor descriptions, cavern characters, more character stuff. Just looking for other meaning tables that might help here. Scripters. Cryptic message. Well, this is cryptic. think I need some additional help here. Use plot twists, power, scavenging results, smells, sounds, starship descriptors. No. Terrain, undead, vision. Now, most of this is not really all that helpful. So you know what? Let's roll on. Let's just kind of back this off a little bit. So I could also just go right back to our descriptors. I don't know if this is going to help though. Maybe. Let's give it a shot. Descriptors, just because. Descriptor tables, because it may help to narrow this a little bit, because I got nothing. Number 1 is going to be 42. Gently. And the sound 2 is going to be 18. Gently dark. Jesus Christ. None of this is really all that helpful, is it? I got absolutely nothing in my mind for this scene. It's an interrupt scene. We're going to scrap it all. None of it's helping. I got nothing. We're going to do this. I'm going to do a strike through. We're going to kill all that, and we're going to start again with an interrupt scene, because I got no idea what to do with that. Again, random event focus table. Try this again. 99, current context. Nope, we're not doing that. 90 even. Again, current context. This is not helping at all, is it? Sorry. 49. Okay, 49 is NPC positive. Cool. Okay, NPC positive. So NPC positive, you want to shift the focus of your adventure onto an NPC right now, maybe to develop new storylines in the future. NPC positive, meaning action tables. 43. Sorry, fail. 92. Fail trial. Oh, okay. Well, now we're talking something a little bit different. Now, which NPC are we talking about? I have not yet added. Let's just throw Camino Squad in here like so. NPC positive. We can do this by rolling randomly, or we can just kind of choose Camino Squad. Let's do it by rolling. Let's do it by rolling randomly. So a d6 to see kind of which block first of all. That's a 5, so we're going to be in the third block, which is another d6 to figure out what we need to use. I really like the way these tables work and how modular they are in that respect. 4. Anord Skyrider. Interesting. Okay. So last we left, Anord. Anord deals with Black Sun a lot, and he had been essentially tasked by Black Sun to help Jax. Basically help Jax recover the Kyber crystal from the security detail that Jabba had in his pockets. The NPC in question, Anord Skyrider. Cool. So we're going to kind of... Here, let me grab this, because what we're going to do... Okay, fail test, but it's a positive. Failed trial, but it's a positive for Anord. So here we go. After helping Jax, yeah. After helping Jax, word got out on Tatooine about how Anord helped steal from Jabba the Hutt. Yeah. He's since left the planet and is currently somewhere in the actually, it makes more sense. He is somewhere in the Outer Rim. Whereabouts? Where are we gonna go? Is he? Actually, you know what? He's made it to... No, not somewhere. He's currently on Nar Shaddaa. Makes sense. Where he has just fallen out of grace with another Hutt who is an ally of Jabba's. There, yeah, okay, we'll go with that. However, over this particular this Hutt tried to hire Anord to had tried to hire Anord to bring in Jax Kellen for the Hutts. Now, for Jabba, for a particular Hutt, the Hutts don't always get along, right? So in this case, the positive is that Anord has learned the Hutts have put a bounty on Jax's head. The scene ends with Anord sends a holo to Jax, informing him about the bounty. Yeah. Never cross a Hutt. We'll just call it that. Yeah, so there we go. That's what we're going to kind of do there. And then we'll move. So Jax had no control over that whatsoever. So I'm going to say that's going to bump us back up to a chaos factor of 6. Come back here. Change this again to 6. And I believe so our next scene will take place with our next scene is definitely going to involve what we're talking about there. However, we're going to call this for an evening. And the next thing is the obligation roll. So we'll kind of come back to Jax here. The motivations. And we'll roll this for a 43, which is a no. Nothing to do with his obligations next time. Alright, I'm going to wrap this up. This has been a difficult session to try to wrap my brain around. Sometimes the meaning tables just don't click with whatever I'm trying to do, and I have no idea. Like today, that interrupt scene, I just kind of reset the whole random rolls and did it again. Anyway, that's that's where we are. Next time will be episode 12. Take it easy. May the Force be with you.